Hello, and welcome to the War in the Pacific. It is the 13th of January, 1942, in the Wirraway versus Encircled. Saved by mail. Okay. After unsuccessful shock attack at Suva, our primary operations this turn are preparing to reinforce our forces on Fiji. Interesting. So this service combat task force was set to follow a amphibious task force. Note that following doesn't mean that a surface task force won't sort of get out in front of the task force it's escorting. I don't know what these ships are doing. They left Singapore and then sort of loitered off the coast of Borneo for a day or two. I thought they'd move on. I had dive bombers um, to take them out, but they were weathered in. The ships didn't move. So instead, they stumbled into that surface task force that was escorting fuel and reinforcements for Java. So there's still more. He's building up Christmas Island. So his bombers have picked up my carriers, both carriers. He does a good job of keeping track of where my carriers are. He does a very good job, actually. Okay. I feel sorry for these Chinese pilots. So the Chinese were down low, I think, hoping, well, finding defense against bombers, unescorted bombers, but they're not used to the range of Japanese naval aircraft. The Bettys come in. It's good. Nice. Should put at least a short-term end to his bombing raids against my tanks advancing in northern China. Massed bombers. As we prepare for another attack along the Nanyang and Xi'an Highway. So originally I thought these core, there's multiple core here. You can see 3 core. Originally I thought they were retreating, but they're not. So I can turn off those bombers. They're not really don't have a real purpose. So we're flying at 10,000 feet, but he still has some flak capable of reaching Marsanias. Hmm. Why are they doing that low? Let's set somebody. So these bombers would have been airborne. You can see they're still hitting the 5th Tank Regiment. They'll return to a, shall we say, pock-marked airfield. They're not doing any notable damage, but oh, it's B-17s flying from India are attacking a Thai division. Okay. I wonder where these T-40Es are coming from. So it looks like he was trying to sweep Davao, which means he's presumably getting ready to raid Davao. I don't have anything of particular value there. Some transports waiting for the tank regiment to finish up its work. Looks like a couple ships did end up escaping from the Philippines. Those would be just one of the very rare few. By the way, Glenn equipped submarines are the greatest invention. Oh, the Vals decide to fly this turn. Okay. My hypothesis is we're leaving Singapore and thought they have a better chance escaping east rather than west. It's a long way, but okay. Let's see how our attacks go. Most interesting one is to see if we're making any progress here. So he started with 763. So he should be down about 600 now. We're taking very limited losses. Obviously, the armor is doing most of the work. Tanks are almost done and ready to move on. We're still not quite ready, still just a little disrupted and disabled squads at Madawan. Oh, the Burma division escaped. Okay. Guam continues to hold out. Really significant disablements I have another small special naval landing force unit at Saipan. I'll reinforce. Looks potentially like he's continuing to reinforce. Not much, obviously. Okay, paratroopers. Oh, he had patrol aircraft. Good ones, too. That's a bonus. Okay, we'll speed through the end of the turn. So pretty successful. Let's check in, see what happened in the air. Wow. Says we shot down. Let's see what's really going on. 22 Allied losses. So it claims there were 17. Obviously, some overclaiming here, and 7 PBYs. We only saw 3, so those are definitely overclaimed. Lost another Mavis transport. They can't make any more until April, but you got to use them. I need aviation support all the way down at Wallis Island. That's a critical operational requirement. And another Catalina lost. Okay. But clearly the Chinese did not do well, suffering very significant losses. Let's just check on Lanchow. Airfield damage at 23, so he can still, if that's correct, if that's updated, he can still bomb out of it. We'll see if he does. Only they claimed, yeah, I can't remember if those were the only kills. Don't know. Anyway, Lanchow operation will wash and repeat. Let's just check and see how our units are doing here. Good shape. Yeah, the armor will be ready to go pretty quickly. That's very good news. Looks like this tank regiment was still recovering, so armor losses, disablement is very light, so we'll be ready to operate again. It looks like he's going to try to send somebody else in here. That won't end well. The more he does that, the better. We've got plenty of reserves sitting here, ready to go to throw him out. And let's just check on our poor beleaguered armor regiment. Keeps popping into reserve. I don't think I'm setting him to reserve. I wonder what's going on. Maybe I. Hmm. Unfortunate that he decided to withdraw. But fortunate that he's withdrawing this way. In the end, there won't be any escape that way. We should be able to harass him with aircraft as he withdraws. And if he decides to go this way, we've got a plan for this zone to cut off any further retreat. And let's just check down here. So we could full speed land at Nadi this turn, coming turn, but I won't. We'll stage short uh, 2 or 3 hexes away. So we get that first movement pulse, get an unload um, during the night phase because he probably doesn't have any ships that can get within range of Nadi in the night phase. Oh, there are the cruisers. So they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if they sit there, and certainly if they run into any submarines, they can't get there in the night phase. And if they do get there in the night phase, they're going to face our cruisers. And I'll detach the 2 fast battleships in a night engagement. And these are American cruisers, though there's possibly the Australia there. And they won't fare well at all at night. So typically, he tries to get there in the day phase. So we'll have a couple chances to unload before he can intervene. Meanwhile, the carriers will move and bomb the airfield, reduce fort building because our attack did get the forts down to 0, suppress fort building, and hopefully damage or limit any strike aircraft. He could, for instance, fly in dive bombers or something similar if he has anything in range, and that would make casualties much higher. In terms of my ships, probably wouldn't change the fact that I could land the troops. Anyway, the next 2 turns will be exciting. Anything going on with the Aleutians? I didn't see any notes. Looks like sighted some ships on their way to Pearl Harbor. Okay. I'll have to give some thought to what to do here. I don't really have any fighters to spare. The tanks I want to withdraw. So obviously he's building up something, an attack of some type on the shipping I have at Davao. All in all, good. Still puzzled by what these guys are doing, but I assume they're going to Manila. And then from Manila, he tends to try to sneak around and make his way past, like these guys did. These, to my knowledge, these are the only guys who have escaped because I have uh, combat units out here that can run him down. But I think that's what he's up to. And my carriers are sighted here. We're going to make a feint towards Ceylon. That's not really what we're about at this point. We haven't had a productive raid into uh, the Indian Ocean, at least productive in terms of direct kills, but its primary purpose is strategic. I want to uh, impede the flow of reinforcements to India and Burma. Uh, and I believe we've been successful. Haven't had a sniff of any ships moving anywhere. So I think he's trying to wait me out, which is obviously it would be great to catch a convoy loaded with a British division or something, but that uh, that hasn't happened and isn't likely to happen because he's put quite a bit of effort into tracking my carrier's movements, um, which is good, but also it's still serving my purpose as far as I can tell. Now, he does have the ability to get allied carriers up here. I think it's Indomitable and perhaps a U.S. carrier. Um, so Cardiff 3 could be in for a fight if that were to happen. Though I've got she has Zui, Kaku, and Shokaku fully loaded, and then Zuho fully loaded with fighters to provide additional cap. Uh, so and fast battleships. It's a pretty powerful task force. But he might try something like that. No sign of his carriers. Uh, I don't think they slipped south of New Zealand and made their way around Australia. It's possible, but my radars, nothing ever showed any sign of them. But it is still possible that his carriers are now in the Indian Ocean. 3 American carriers, a British carrier on the way, and potentially a fourth American carrier coming from the East Coast uh, around uh, through Cape Town. So it's possible um, that he's actually stalking Cardiff 3. We'll see. Meanwhile, we have a deception operation going on to try to distract him elsewhere. And of course, things are pretty hot in the South Pacific. But look forward to the next chance to talk as we continue to reinforce or work to reinforce our position on in Fiji, Lake Suva, and beyond.